definitely get out the stack of red Solo cups. You have somebody meet you in the parking lot, maybe a family member or a friend who came to the game, and they bring you your Clase Azul or your 1942 or maybe a little bit of Hennessy, whatever it is, and they bring that to the plane, and you pass a couple bottles around, and you got your Solo cups. All right, Broncos Country, DNVR family, we are back with another episode of Broncos X's and O's with KOA's own Mr. Dave Logan, getting in late last night from a dub.
It's all worth it when they play that way, right?
Is the plane ride better back for you as well after a win?
Well, it's a little unusual last night because normally I fly with the Broncos unless there's a high school game involved. But the Broncos stayed last night, went back to the hotel after the win in Philadelphia, cleaned up a little bit, and then got on the plane and flew to London.
Last night?
Okay. So I caught a late flight from Philadelphia to Denver, come back here and coach this week, and then I'll get a ticket and catch up with the Broncos this weekend.
No private jet for you?
You got one?
No, I thought
you have access to one.
Yeah,
listen,
I know you have the access to the people.
You be the guy I call. Let me just tell you that much. No, I'll be. I think I'm on United, but it's going to be one of those.
Awesome. All right, well let's dive into it. Initial thoughts and impressions. Broncos win a huge game, 21-17 versus the defending champs, Philadelphia Eagles. I think this is the Broncos' biggest win since Super Bowl 50.
Yeah, we had, after calling the game yesterday in Philadelphia, we have some of our fans that can text us on the text line, and we read some of the text in the post-game show. And that was one of the texts. Hey, Dave, do you think this is the biggest win since Super Bowl 50? And honestly, prior to that text, I hadn't thought about it at all. Mm-hmm. But then when I read that text, I'm like, well, wait a minute here. So I think it is. Because you can't, really, since Super Bowl 50, the Broncos have played in one playoff game. That was last year. They got beat by Buffalo, 31-7. But I think in terms of, everything else would be regular season, I think this would be it, given where they played and who they played and sort of how they played in the early part of the game. There's so many things you can build on with an effort like that as long as you find a way to win the game. And yesterday they did.
Who they played and where they played. Philadelphia is a hard place to play.
Man.
No matter what type of talent that you actually have, it's a hard place to play. And then they also played what I think is one of the most complete rosters in football. When you talk about the secondary, the defensive line, the offensive line, the running back, the skill positions, they are a complete football team, but you don't play the game on paper. And the Broncos found a way to finish this game. And it's super encouraging if you're a Broncos fan. If you're in that locker room, you are very encouraged. What did it feel like calling the game for the first three quarters, though, for you? Were you ever – what was it like in the stadium?
It's I thought the stadium was honestly a bit subdued. I didn't – like when the Broncos at home get rolling, it's loud.
Yeah.
And you wear headphones, obviously, but there are times at home at key moments where it's hard even to hear as you talking to the microphone, calling the game. It's hard to hear yourself talk. But I thought the Philadelphia crowd, and maybe they were just pissed with the performance last night by the Phillies. I don't know. maybe they had a few cocktails after that game to drown their sorrows, but I didn't think it was real loud. I was down in the field before the game doing a TV show, and we both played in the league, so you're not caught up really with the size of NFL guys. But here I go. I'm watching the offensive line in totality work a little bit of the pass sets and hand placements before the game, no pads on at all. And against the defensive line, and those are massive humans. That team physically looks different than any other team I've seen so far in the NFL, right? So I give the Broncos a lot of credit because I thought from a defensive perspective, I mean, I thought they were active up front, and I thought they took the battle to the Eagles, right? You got a lot. I mean, best way to stop any sort of outside zone stuff is to get penetration, gap penetration. I thought DJ Jones, nobody's really talking about him, but I thought 93 showed up big in the defensive effort, and Saquon really was not a factor in that game, and he, to me, has to be a factor for the Eagles to win consistently.
100%. DJ Jones played really well. He had a nice TFL during the game.
Late
in the game. Played really well. This was a mindset game to me also. And I think this is where the Denver Broncos really shift their mindset into, not that they didn't have it before, but when you win a tight game, a close game on the road against the defending champs, against a team that is really well assembled, who just – they won 20 out of their last 21. Your mindset now changes that we can win close games. And we were talking about this a couple weeks ago, and I'm curious to get your perspective on this. Would you rather have the Broncos win a blowout game or win a close game like that? What's better for the Broncos in the long run?
Well, I think – I mean, you in this league, you'd obviously take either one, right?
Right. Definitely take a win for sure.
If you had your druthers, I suppose you'd take it just the way it was, because it established in that locker room, like, hey, no matter what happens, no matter what the circumstance of the game is, we can win. We can come back. We can win on the road away from Denver. We can win on the road away from Denver against really good teams, right? Down 14 to start the fourth quarter. It was an amazing stat that I saw, and I used it in the broadcast. Starting the fourth quarter, Denver's down 17-3. In franchise history, which dates all the way back to 1960, when the Broncos have been 14 points or more down starting the fourth quarter, in 113 previous games, they'd lost 112. Now, I'm not very good in math, but that's not a very good percentage, I don't think. So for them to come back against that team, in particular, it would have been a really good win if they'd have beaten anybody. Just pick a team. Let's say they'd have beaten Tennessee. I mean, great win, come from behind, on the road, whatever. But to beat the defending world champions and a team, as you said, that had won 12 straight home games, 20 of the last 21 games in the NFL, to win in that fashion against that team, man, I think you have to celebrate a little bit. I hope the coaches, the NFL coaches, the Bronco coaches, celebrated a little bit, flying from Philadelphia to London. You get over there, you go to work, and then you got to go figure out how to beat the Jets. But man, you have to teach yourself, I think, as coaches. Players sort of do it. They know how to do it. Coaches have to teach themselves how to exhale and say, you know what, this flight's 7.5 hours. We're going to watch this film, but damn, we're going to just enjoy this a little bit.
How did you guys enjoy it? Because I remember after certain games on certain teams, I'm not going to say which teams, but you definitely get out the stack of red Solo cups. You have somebody meet you in the parking lot, maybe a family member or a friend who came to the game, and they bring you your Clase Azul or your 1942 or maybe a little bit of Hennessy, whatever it is, and they bring that to the plane, and you pass a couple bottles around and you got your Solo cups. But being on a plane ride after a win is one of the best feelings. And I have some of the most vivid memories of being in the back of those United planes. With the quarterback or with Peyton or Eli, some of the quarterbacks that I played with, and DT, and then we're just sitting there and we're talking about how great that was. And then some of the moments that were missed earlier in the game aren't such a big deal, and you're able to talk through those things, and you're able just to have that camaraderie. How'd you guys celebrate?
Well, I think probably in similar fashion we would. There's nothing. I can't stress this more in the NFL. There's nothing like winning. There's nothing that feels better than to win a game. And I think to win again against that team in that fashion, it builds a real bond amongst those teammates. And I think back to one game a long time ago. We were playing Earl Campbell, Hall of Fame running back. We're playing in Houston in the Astrodome, and the winner of this game is probably going to win the division. And we were tight, really tight before the game, and you go out for warm-ups and you come back in, you're all lathered up, and I just remember sitting around and really nobody was saying anything, but there was just that look. You had that look that you knew, like, hey man, I am not going to let that guy there or that guy there. I'm not letting them down. Whatever I have to do in this game, I'm going to do it. So I think winning in that fashion will really be a catalyst for this young team to propel them forward, because now they know. It's one thing to play the Colts close and say we got screwed on the last play of the game, guy missed the kick, and then the next week you go to L.A. and they say we didn't play all that well, but we were right there. But to do what they did yesterday, it cannot be overstated in terms of the amount of confidence that it infuses into those players. So I think you'll look back very possibly at the end of this season and say, man, the turning point of this season was that game in Philadelphia.
100%. And it shows that you can weather the storm. Let's dive into Bo Nix right now. 24 for 39, 242 yards, 1 touchdown, no turnovers. No turnovers the last 2 games, I believe. Yeah, no turnovers. They say ball security is job security, yours and mine.
Yep.
So he hasn't been turning the ball over. Ugly first half, but there were some plays there. Then you get into the fourth quarter, and Bo is timing and rhythm. But I want to go back because I broke some film down. We won't watch it, but I broke some film down on the inside scoop. Bo's anticipation and timing in the first half and second half was there. The hitch routes to Cortland Sutton, he was throwing the ball before he was open.
Yep.
The deep stop route on the play action fake to Troy Franklin, throwing the ball before he was open. The out route to Troy Franklin.
You know what I liked about the one to Franklin the most? Ball was above his head. He just went up and made the catch. And he was a guy last week we were talking about a couple of drops, and I couldn't understand, was he seeing the ball properly? But to go up with your hands and make a catch like that, really good for a young player. But I totally agree with you. I thought Bo's timing was really good. The ball's coming out of his hands, which alleviates a lot of the stress in your offensive line.
Yep.
I thought in that regard he was really good yesterday.
The pockets were really clean. And, Sean probably rubbed some people the wrong way calling Bo a top 4, top 5 quarterback. But the fourth quarter, I now can see what he can see. The elite level throws, the 2 back shoulders. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks don't do the back shoulder throw. Aaron Rodgers perfected it. You don't see a lot of quarterbacks just throw that. But 2 to Cortland Sutton, and the gotta have it situation, the loft that he put on that ball, the back shoulder, he threw it before Cortland was open and gave him an opportunity. Those are things that he was rifling in there in the first couple of weeks and also in the preseason. That shows how comfortable he was. His feet were great. I thought he was poised throughout the entire game, even though the first half didn't go well. Is that what you saw as well?
Yeah, I thought, it was no surprise really how the Eagles decided to play the Broncos offense. Vic Fangio's the coordinator, so you're not going to get a lot of 5 and 6 man pressures. The Eagles pressured with 4 and played coverage. 2 things on Sutton. I think Cortland is so good. Again, when you stand next to Cortland Sutton, he's a big man.
Yeah, he's a man.
He is a big receiver. And I think where defenses play into his strength is, they think they can come up and press him because maybe he doesn't have the top end speed to run by you. He's got pretty good speed for a guy that size. And so I think they underestimate his speed a little bit. But what happens with bigger receivers, I believe, is when a defensive back comes up and presses, to me, it plays right into the strength of the receiver. I always wanted guys to come up and press me.
Please do.
Right? Because I know, number one, I know I'm stronger than you are and I'm bigger than you are. And so I'm going to get you where I want you, and then I'm going to position you and lock you down to where I can use my body and you can't fight through me. And that's exactly what Cortland has really mastered. So Quinyon Mitchell is an excellent corner, but he kept coming up in those second half opportunities and pressing Cortland. I'm thinking, dude, you are playing right into the Broncos and number 14 strength.
100% mouse in the house. That's what they say in basketball, right? Mouse
Too
in the
small.
house.
Too small. Throw me the ball, right?
What'd you think about Sean's deciding to go for 2? I mean, you got to get out the wheelbarrow to have big balls like that. I mean, especially, you're down 17-16, you could just easily kick the field goal, but decides to go for 2. What were you thinking as you're calling the game right there?
I was surprised. I was surprised for sure. The first thing I thought of, I didn't say it on the broadcast, but when I see him over there going for 2, I'm thinking, last year in Cincinnati, you score with under 10 seconds to go, and you don't go for 2, which I thought they would go for 2. And here with 7:26 left, down 1, you go for 2, and I thought certainly they're going to kick the ball. But I think, he said after the game in the press conference that he had 4 or 5 calls that he loved.
Yep.
And I will tell you that play design is almost impossible to stop if the ball's thrown with accuracy, right? I mean, from a wide receiver standpoint, Fowler cuts his split and then basically takes a jab step, and then he sprints as fast as he can on a parallel plane away from the defensive back.
Yeah, with all that field.
After he cut the split, he's probably got close to 20 yards to run. And so defensive backs are, they're at a disadvantage in that. But I thought Bo was so good on that throw. He let that thing go. The ball's not behind Fowler where you have to turn around and let
you
the
keep saying Fowler, Franklin.
Franklin.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm thinking of you.
If you want me to go out there and
you
play.
know what? I'd have thrown it to you too. The ball was not behind Franklin. Just perfectly placed. And I thought it was a ballsy call. I really did.
Yeah, super ballsy call. And it shows that, hey, Bo said there was not a doubt in their mind that they were going for 2 at that point in time, which also means that they had talked about these things. And Sean said he got 4 or 5 calls, which I think is super important, is that he was going there. And my mom, when I was growing up, always said, hey, you're playing to win. We're not going to play not to lose. We're going to Philly. We're going to play to win this game. Yeah. Sean is not scared to make calls like that.
I think one other thing that may have played into his thinking was his defense had, I believe at that point, 3 straight 3-and-outs. They'd stop the Eagles. You still have your timeouts. You have 7:26 left in the game. If this play doesn't work, you feel pretty good that you're going to get the ball back, right? So now I thought the execution in the fourth quarter, the drives, I thought, we'll get into the running game a little bit, but I thought JK Dobbins was brilliant. He gives them toughness and explosive ability, and he's patient running. And I think the offensive line likes the way he runs. And you could just see, I thought they started to wear on the Eagles a little bit in that fourth quarter.
I saw the same thing, and when I hear you say that, I think the Broncos have found their identity. I think they have found their identity of tough runs, 3 to 4 yard runs, north and south. JK, his vision has been at an elite level in the play action game.
Yep.
And we can play action people because of how strong the running game now is now. And I think that's their identity going forward. So I want to give a big shout out to Taco Bell, man. I love Taco Bell after a late night and after a Broncos win. You have a couple drinks, then you're heading home. I don't think there's a better place than Taco Bell to stop at. 2 chicken quesadillas is what I get, 2 hard tacos, and a large Coke. And, the big box of nachos with 2 times the protein is back just in time for football season. The big box of grande nachos is loaded with warm, crispy tortilla chips, loaded with 2 portions of slow-roasted chicken or seasoned beef, along with refried beans, warm nacho cheese sauce, shredded blended mozzarella, pepper jack, and cheddar cheese, freshly prepared pico de gallo, reduced fat sour cream, guacamole with Hass avocados. Nothing beats this power-packed lineup. And if you have a group, throw in a few buff boxes with 4 Taco Bell classics and a player collectible cup for only $7 to satisfy your Taco Bell crave. This is the best deal in all of Colorado. Taco Bell is a proud partner of CU Athletics and is donating $1,000 to the Golden Buff Scholarship Foundation for every CU touchdown scored in 2025. Skull Buffs and Live Moss. Right now at Bet365, they have great offers available for Broncos fans. They have their Thursday night football offer, which is a $10 safety net bet. They have their Sunday night football offer, which is a $365,000 jackpot. Place a $10 bet on the first time touchdown scorer and get a split of $365,000 in bonus bets if your player scores the final touchdown of the game. Also, with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your team goes up by 17 points with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download the app and use the code DNVR365 when you sign up. Breaking news, Bet365 new customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5 win or lose. Sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10 and place a bet for $5 to get $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins or loses. Bonus bets can be used on the spread, totals, player props, futures, and more. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Disclaimer, you must be 21 years or older, physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply.
I think you're right. And I think also the last couple of weeks I've been impressed with the sort of the game plan and how they've constructed how they want to attack on offense. They have, I think, done a really nice job, the coaches, playing into Bo's strength. Bo can win from the pocket. He's got the ability to throw the ball from the pocket, but he's an excellent thrower when on the move. So they have either run the nakeds, they've run boots with waggle pulling a lineman, they've run dash. They've got him on the move and given him some throws. And I just think he's been at his best really throwing the ball the last 2 weeks.
The dash is the shotgun, and he's sprinting straight out, sprint out right, sprint out left.
Yep.
I think they've done a really good job. And to your point, also playing into his strength, the F high to Sherfield, I thought was an incredible play design. You missed it. Maybe it's a long foul ball. Maybe Sherfield could have ran a little bit faster. Who knows what happened there? But I thought Sean's play calling, the rhythm and timing, I thought was excellent. And this was a Sean Payton game.
Yeah.
This is what you pay him the money for.
No, I agree. And I think one other thing about that play, I think from an opponent's standpoint, when they look at the Broncos tape and they start saying, okay, obviously we got to take 14 out. You know, Franklin's pretty good. Now Ingram's sort of in this thing. The play to Sherfield tells me that Sean is not afraid at a big moment to dial up something for a guy that you really haven't heard of, right? I mean, Sherfield will come in the game, and it's not like the Eagles' defenders are saying, okay, where's number 5 lined up?
Right.
I mean, they're looking at 14. They're looking probably at Ingram. They're looking to see what the personnel package is, what's the formation. They're not really looking at Trent Sherfield. So he'll throw it to anybody. I like what I have seen from a creative standpoint the last couple of weeks in particular. And I think also we should say they have been good in the red zone. One of the key components, I believe, to the Broncos' success thus far, and you can have both sides of the ball, right? The Broncos have been in the red zone 14 times in 5 games, and they've scored 10 touchdowns. Broncos' opponents have been in the red zone 14 times against the Broncos defense, and they've scored 4 touchdowns. So both units are really capitalizing when teams get inside the 20-yard line.
What was your favorite plays from the fourth quarter? And I'll just give you a couple of mine. The back shoulder throws to Cortland, but the 3rd and 8 or the 3rd and 15 deep curl route to Cortland has to be my favorite throw from Bo. Timing, rhythm, anticipation, and then Court breaks tackles to get a first down right there.
Yeah, he put it right on him too. And Court, again, that was a condensed split. Cortland was not out wide. I can't remember if there was somebody else outside him or not, but he lined up, I'd say 5 or 6 yards from, if McGlinchey was in the game at that time, the right tackle. And I thought it was well designed, against the zone defense. But I thought that was an excellent throw. Bo, the last couple of weeks, right? I think of the throw that he made last week against Cincinnati when he brought Franklin in motion, and then Franklin in motion right to left, and then he threw the dig route. Franklin came back inside. Man, listen, that thing was like a laser. And that throw yesterday to Cortland was similar. You could almost hear that thing hum out of his hands. For a guy that at times people have said, I'm not sure he's got enough arm strength. Trust me, he's got plenty of arm strength in this league. So that was tremendous. Court did a nice job of just putting his foot in the ground and squaring and getting extra yards. But that was a huge third down.
Yep, huge third down. Now they got to put it together consistently over 4 quarters, and that's something that you're going to want to see, that we're going to want to see over the coming weeks. Let's go. We talked about creativity on offense and Sean Payton. Let's go to the creativity and just talk and give kudos to Vance Joseph. Being able to adjust, I think, is sometimes hard for coaches. You come into a game plan, the Eagles had only scored 10 points, so you're like, okay, the game plan's working. But for him to adjust and go to those zone blitzes and get out of the man blitzes and confuse Hurts. I mean, you don't always want Nik Bonitto dropping into coverage, but that throws the quarterback off. And I think it threw Jalen Hurts off when you have the best pass rusher in the NFL dropping into coverage. I think it confused him a lot. Talk about Vance and what you saw from just him and his game plan. Yeah,
I thought he adjusted well in the second half. And I think if you look at the Eagles' first drive of the third quarter, it was 4 plays, I think 72 yards. That's when they had Saquon ran the little stutter go, and he got singled up on Alex Singleton. And it goes for like 40-some-odd yards and a score. That's a really – that happened, that play, a similar play happened in Indianapolis with Jonathan Taylor. I can't tell people that might be watching this how tough of a cover that is for a linebacker.
Almost any linebacker.
I mean, almost any linebacker. And if you get a guy – Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley are 2 of the – 6 or 7 fastest backs in the league. So you're not – if you get them isolated on a linebacker, I don't care who the linebacker is, that is not going to end well. And so I think Vance, at that point, 17-3. I think down the stretch, I think Vance made the decision, you know what, we're gonna pressure with 4 or less. We're going to make Jalen sit in the pocket and execute the passing game and get out of, as you said, so much man-to-man coverage. Riley Moss, and I know a lot of Broncos fans are
yes, please dive into this.
Hot about Riley Moss. I get it. Listen, you're on an island out there, and you're the opposite side of Pat Surtain. There's nothing easy about that particular position. The one thing I would say about Riley would be on the one play that I was shaking my head thinking, what are we doing? Was the 3rd and 17, right? The 3rd and 17, and he comes up to press Devonta Smith. And you look at it on the replay, when Jalen threw the ball, and I'm looking at the ball, looking down, and Smith's got a step and a half on him, maybe 2 steps. And I'm thinking, what happened? Did he slip down or whatever? It's 3rd and 17. That's where I think just being aware of whatever the coverage is, and I think it was quarters. To me, it's easy to second guess, but you don't want to come up and press,
right? Especially
that guy. Yeah. That's one of the best things that Devonta Smith does is get off a jam, gets off of press. He's small, and you want to get your hands on him, but he's quick. And I thought Riley came up, did 2 things. One, tried to press him. Smith got away with an inside release. Then he stacked him. And then Riley, I thought, guessed a little bit that, hey, he's going to run a curl or a dig. And he kind of, what I would say, slowed a bit on that outside hip, and Smith just kept on running.
Yep.
And so it makes it easy, I think, for a quarterback like Jalen Hurts, 3rd and 17. You look out and you look over here and you see Riley come up, and you know you've got man coverage. Well, 3rd and 17. So I'm not going to let the pass rush affect me. I'm just going to draw back 3 and together and let that thing go. And I just thought that was the one play where I'm thinking, golly, man, what are we doing?
A lot of people think that this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. I don't think it's quite there just yet. I think there are still some improvements that have to be made, and one of them is the situational awareness. I think that is critically important. You know, we got TJ Ward coming up on the show, and I know that's, you know, he talks about, you know, the fact that there were no holes on that Super Bowl 50 defense. And the best defense is, you know, they can't find one area to pick on right now. And right now they're picking on Singleton and our linebackers in coverage, and they're going at Riley Moss. So I think those things have to continue to get better throughout the year. But Riley's got a tough job. I mean, he's got the toughest job. And then the last 2 weeks, he's had to go against two receivers who I believe could be ones on half or if not more, most of NFL teams. So those things I think will get cleaned up. But let's go back to the positives. Is Nik Bonitto the best pass rusher in football?
I think he is right now. He is slippery. You know, he's so athletic off the edge. You and I have talked about him in the previous shows. He's the closest thing I think the Broncos have had, or the closest thing that I've seen to Vaughn. And I'm not saying he is Vaughn, because Vaughn is a generational pass rusher, and we'll see if Nik turns into that. But man, oh man, he's got tremendous bend off the edge. And again, he's undersized. I mean, I would bet Nik Bonitto is 245. I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. But if you stand next to him, you see him, you'd say, well, that dude's not very big.
Yeah.
So that there's a disadvantage maybe a little bit when teams try to run at him and big offensive linemen get their meat cleavers on him. But there's also disadvantage for the offensive lineman in terms of in a must-pass situation. He's really, really creative off the edge, and he's got 7.5 sacks.
7.5 sacks, leading the NFL in sacks. I think he's the best pass rusher in football right now.
I do
he's
too.
He's playing complete football. He's also playing in the run and then also dropping in coverage. So Nik, and he's 6-1 odds for Defensive Player of the Year.
When's the last time one team had back-to-back Defensive Players of the Year? Has that ever happened?
I don't know. You've watched the game longer than me.
Everything.
You've watched the game longer than me. We got to figure that out. Right now for the Broncos, we got TJ Ward joining the show. Broncos X's and O's with me and Dave Logan. Boss Ward, what's up, my guy?
What's up, Benny? What's cracking?
Hey, man. Broncos got a dub, man, on the road, 21-17. They got a big win, man. We want to know your first initial thoughts and impressions of the Broncos win.
Man, it was a great win, big win. It's a statement win. And I knew we could go up there and get that win. You know, I thought we had all the pieces that was needed to beat the Eagles, even in Philly. And we had some mishaps early that could have been big plays, right? It could have been ugly early for them, but you know, it didn't go our way, and we settled down, and we ended up taking the lead and keeping it. So it was a great game for us.
TJ, when you see this this current edition of the Broncos defense, I mean, you played on one of the historically great defensive teams in NFL history in that 2015 season. But when you see the Broncos now, what couple of things really impress you about this defense?
I think it's, their ability to get to the pass rusher with Bonitto, leading that charge, man. He's like our Von Miller, obviously. He's there whenever there's a passing situation, but having the ability to play the run. And I think also coming off the heels of that is being able to blitz and cover. Like, can you blitz effectively and cover on the back end? Even if, it's not a man coverage blitz, right? Can you be in those zones that and interfere in those passing lanes? And I think they have a great concept of what Vance Joseph wants to do as players, and they're playing at a high level.
TJ, man, take us inside a locker room at halftime. You see the Eagles made some explosive plays. Then they come out in the second half and they throw the wheel route, little stutter go to Saquon. But then they don't score after that. What did you see Vance change? Because it looked like he changed something in terms of he looked like he always brought 4, but he was confusing Jalen Hurts in terms of in terms of who he was bringing. And you just talked about the effective blitzes. Can you talk about what did you see from Vance's actual game plan that got executed in the second half?
Yeah, actually, I saw that early. Jalen was able to point out the defenses and the blitzes, meaning that he was able to deter or determine whether it was a man blitz or a zone blitz. And when he did find the man blitzes, he found the mismatch, which we couldn't let him do. And I think Vance did a great job of hiding that in the second half with fire zone blitzes, right? We're bringing those 4 or 5 guys, but you don't know where our guys are dropping from, and it makes it harder on Jalen to read those. And I said coming into the game, make him throw the ball, make him make those big plays in the air. We know he can run, we know Saquon can do that, but can he do it with pressure and having to do it on the go? And we proved that he couldn't do it against us in the second half. And I think we kind of opened up the can on the recipe on how to beat the Eagles, honestly. And I think, I said that early, you get on top of them early, you make them think while they're, having to play at the same time, and you can beat them because they're physically dominating team, right? They can run. They got big old linemen. Saquon line up 1-for-1. They can win a lot of those times, but when you confuse them and bring pressures and keep the lead, make Jalen have to put that ball in the air, then you have a great chance of winning the game. And we
Hey, let me ask you this, TJ. I was calling the game. I was really amazed that Saquon didn't get touches in the second half. And Benny talked about the back. He came out of the backfield, got singled up on Alex Singleton, and that's a tough cover for a linebacker. But he had 2 carries in that second half. And I just want to know, from a defensive player's perspective, when you got a guy like Saquon on the other side, and you can just kind of feel as the game continues, like, man, they're sort of moving away from this guy. What do you think?
That's a beautiful thing coming from the defense. Like, that means we're making them do what we want to do, right? We could stop the run. We're going to stop it. We're going to do everything to stop that early and deter you from doing that. And that's exactly what happened. And then when the game got a little bit critical for them, they didn't make the plays that need to be made. I thought he got a little flustered, and all that coolness that of Jalen Hurts is he's not so cool no more.
Hey, TJ, you obviously, we were teammates. You're a Super Bowl champ. You're a Pro Bowler. You're one of the best safeties that has put on a Broncos uniform. What is the next step for the defense to become a Super Bowl level defense? Now, Sean Payton talked about this team being a Super Bowl contender. You beat a team like that. What's the next step for the defense for them, not necessarily compared to the no-fly zone, but to be on that level of play?
Oh, man, I think we have a couple of holes, honestly, in some areas, and we didn't have any holes. You couldn't pick out one person and say we're going to go at them. And I think once we figure that on defense and figure out how to negate that, then they'll go to the next level. But holes, we can't have any holes.
And what are those? Can you point those out for just the listeners?
I think we're getting targeted 2-1. They're targeting 2-1. I'm gonna keep it a buck. The teams are targeting 2-1, and I think he has to do better situationally because he has the skill set to do everything that needs to be done. But 3rd and 17, you can't go press and cover 4. Like, we got to be smarter than that. It's 3rd and 17. You showing off. Don't show off and press, then show off or bail. Like, those are mental things that can be fixed. So yeah, he has the tools. And, hiding the mismatches. Singleton, he's a great linebacker, but it's a mismatch for any linebacker one-on-one coverage with Saquon Barkley. You can't do that, right? But to his favor, he stops the run, like, very well. And that's why they didn't want to run the ball anymore. So it's just finding those and either hiding those or combating them some type of way. But I think, a couple of those mental, I think they're mental issues. So get those fixed, be good.
I want to keep you on that one play, that 3rd and 17 play. And you just said you can't come up and press and cover 4. And for people that don't know, cover 4s, you're playing quarters. I thought the same thing. I mean, you want to keep stuff in front of you and let your pass rushers work in that situation. 3rd and 17, if the ball comes out quick, well, then you come up and make the tackle. And I thought not only did he come up and challenge Smith, and Smith is slippery with his releases at the line of scrimmage. And then I thought he guessed a little bit right about midway in that route in terms of Smith either running a basic route or running a hook, and he just guessed wrong.
Yeah, I mean, I think the down and distance is in your favor in that situation. It's in your favor. So that goes to making Hurts think. He didn't have to think. He dropped back, seen man, and let it go. And he throws a pretty good deep ball. Whenever Hurts can do that, drop back and know where he's going, he complete a good ball, but it's making him think, making him do it on the go. Now, if he would have sat back or, challenged his thinking a little bit more on that play, I know that ball doesn't get completed. I think that's incomplete or a sack, honestly. I mean, the way that D line was getting there.
So better situational football. TJ, the year we won the Super Bowl, the offense didn't always play the best type of football, but you guys knew what you had to do in order to help us stay in the game or then make a defensive play. Talk a little bit about the offense struggling yesterday for the first 3 quarters, and then they turn it on in the fourth quarter. What did you see? What really impressed you about Bo Nix and Sean Payton in the fourth quarter?
Yeah, I think it was a struggle, but it was one of those struggles where you had them, right? We didn't get to play, but we know it's there. And that's kind of a confident thing. It's not a deterrent. It's like, nah, they're stopping us or, they on our ass. But it's like, no, we dropped the ball. No, we overthrew a ball. The players are there. We just got to make them. And, the second half, they came out and made them.
Hey, my last thought, I know I asked you before we came on here, but I think Bronco fans would love to know what's keeping you busy this time. I mean, this part of your life after the NFL thing is done. What are you into?
I'm podcasting too, man. I'm on you guys. I'm media now, but that's mainly what I'm doing. I'm podcasting. My show is called Safety First Show, at Safety First Show on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok. But other than that, man, I have an NIL management agency, marketing company called Player Above Sports as well. I've been doing that for 5 years. And
Is that a college thing, or what are you doing with the NIL thing?
college, it's high school, college, and pro. So the transition from high school to college and dealing with collectives and NIL management, marketing, and branding for these young kids, and also financial literacy and financial security, which is highly important because these kids are coming into a lot of money. Their parents, they're coming into money younger than we did. We were in our 20s or so, and they're 16, 17, 18, like with hundreds of thousands of dollars. So my goal is to secure that money first, then you start manipulating it. Don't manipulate before you secure it. You want it locked up, make sure it's doing the right thing and working for you first and foremost. Then you can start, juggling a little and playing with it a little bit. But yeah, those are 2 main focuses for me right now.
Everybody go check out Safety First and what TJ is doing. TJ, man, my last question for you. We are getting ready to celebrate our Super Bowl team in 2 weeks, man, 10-year anniversary.
Has it been that long?
It's been that long.
Man,
you're getting older, Dave.
I know I'm getting older. I guess you guys are too.
TJ, man, would love to know your favorite memory from the Super Bowl team, and then also Demaryius Thomas is going into the Ring of Fame, the late, great DT, man. Your favorite impression or memory of Demaryius?
Oh, okay. I'll start with the favorite Super Bowl memory was probably or Super Bowl year or Super Bowl period.
Yeah, period. Year or just or the week that we were there.
Man, I'd say, you know what, my favorite Super Bowl memory was the prayer. Was it before the game? Maybe it was the week of practice, but yeah, that whole week, that whole 2 weeks of us just kicking it before the Super Bowl was my favorite memories. Just the guys in and out the locker room, traveling to San Francisco. When we got there, having a little fun before we started practicing, and that whole time was just, you can't really put anything on those memories, especially our brother DT is gone, so I'm gonna cherish those forever, as I know we all will.
Yeah. Favorite DT memory?
I mean, DT, that was my dog, man. Just being out with DT and my favorite thing, I used to make him say his birthday because it was on Christmas, right? You know how DT be like, Krimma. I used to mess with DT. And then we did an interview, NFL Network Top 100 interview one time, and they both had us on there a little higher than we thought we should be, right? So we were just giving, and Wes was doing that interview. We was frying his ass up on the show. And that was hilarious. Yeah, that's probably one of my better DT memories for sure.
TJ, my brother, man, really appreciate you. Looking forward to seeing you in a couple weeks. Everybody check out Safety First, man. TJ's talking all things NFL and then also bringing a great perspective to the Broncos and one of the best safeties on one of the best defenses in NFL history. Appreciate you. Shout out to the Gold Crown Foundation. Are you a parent of a 4th through 8th grade kid, or are you someone listening who wants to play in a great competitive basketball league here in Colorado? Sign up for the Gold Crown Basketball League today. The Gold Crown Foundation was started by Bill Hanslick many years ago, and it still continues to be a staple of our community. They have divisions for our 4th through 8th grade teams. They have feeder teams for high school and gold, silver, and bronze divisions. You can play in both high school gyms and at the Gold Crown Fieldhouse. Gold Crown also has leagues in volleyball, golf, flag football. It's a nonprofit organization that serves 18,000 plus kids annually in the Denver metro area. It is also a great way for kids to have fun playing sports while also playing in a competitive environment that is going to help them if they want to keep playing sports in high school and potentially beyond. Learn more and sign up by scanning the QR code on the screen or visiting goldcrownfoundation.com. Big shout out to Volo Sports. Volo is Denver's most popular provider of adult social sports leagues, pickup games, and events. Their sports offered include soccer, volleyball, pickleball, kickball, basketball, cornhole, and many more. Playing with Volo is a great way to meet new people, make new friends, and be social. Stay or get more active in a fun way. And mix up your after-work routine. They have leagues all throughout the city: Lodo, Rhino, Highlands, City Park, Cherry Creek, South Broadway, and more. Maybe you played sports in high school and want to pick it up again. Maybe you were an intramural star in college. Maybe you are a former NFL receiver and want and need to get back in shape. Players can sign up as a free agent, small group, or full team, and all ability levels and backgrounds are welcome to join. Use code DNVR10 for $10 off any Volo Denver league. Well, the Broncos also saved some money by getting Pat Surtain's deal done early, then also Nik Bonitto, because if Nik Bonitto didn't sign that deal before training camp, I mean, you're adding another $15 million to the deal.
The good news is, at his age, he's going to be in line for another contract fairly soon, and it's going to be significant.
100%. 100%. What's next for the Broncos? Where are you at on the Super Bowl meter right now? I think right now, on a scale of 1 to 10, if they're 10 is Super Bowl ready, I'm at about a 6 right now. I still think with as well as they played yesterday in the fourth quarter and how great it looked, you cannot have lapses where you're not scoring points like that.
Yeah.
You have to be better right there. And then 100 yards of penalties. That you can't win games like that. So right now
penalty thing has been something
that's glaring.
Almost every game.
Yeah.
So I think you have to try to find a way to get a hold of that. Here's why I would be encouraged about maybe their opportunity in the postseason. You look at the rest of the AFC. I mean, Baltimore's 1-4.
Yep.
Right. The Bills got beat last night
They're
at
4-1.
home
Yep.
by New England. Still a really good team. Chargers got beat at home by the Commanders.
They lost 2 in a row.
Still a really good team. They dropped 2 in a row. To me, the key to this thing, as the Broncos go on, is to find a way. And the Chiefs bounce back. I mean, they play tonight. The Chiefs bounce back against the Ravens. But for the Broncos, the key thing, I think, is to win the West. You find a way to win the West. You then are assured of getting at least one home playoff game. I like their chances. I like their chances against anybody that I've seen right now in the AFC at home in January here in Denver. So they've got the Chiefs, obviously, a couple of times coming up. You get the Chargers back at home. Raiders, look like a hot mess.
Yep.
Like a hot mess. So, yeah, I think the key for this team will be sort of just sawing, as they used to say, sawing wood every week. They're over in London now. I'll get over there this weekend. They're going to practice.
I'll see you over there.
Yeah, are you going?
I'm going tomorrow.
You going tomorrow? Hey, man.
Let's go.
Use the private jet?
Yeah, of course. That's the only way I roll.
Seriously, man.
No.
Seriously.
American Airlines.
It's kind of a private jet. No, but I think the key will be, and I'm really interested to see how they come out Sunday afternoon, London time, Sunday morning, Denver time, 7:30. How they come out against the Jets, a team that has not won a game.
Yep.
Do they come out and put their foot down and do what they should do, or do they mess around and play like young teams sometimes play against a lesser opponent?
You know, I always get worried, more so now that I've removed from football, teams that I watch, more so on the basketball side, some on the football side. I don't really have a team that I just outright cheer for, but I am worried about how people handle success.
Sure.
And that was a huge win. How are you going to handle this going forward? And I think if you want to become a Super Bowl contending team and a Super Bowl contender and a legit one, you go out there and you handle business in London. And I think Sean is going to do a really good job of that, because I think he is going to be pissed about how the first 3 quarters went.
Oh, yeah.
As well as they played, and they should celebrate, but as well as they played in the fourth quarter, the first 3 quarters offensively did not look how he wanted them to look. There were some mishaps. There were some things that weren't open. There were throws that were missed. There were run blocks that were missed. There was offense, things that didn't go well. And I think he is going to be on the details even more this week. And you don't want to be that team that loses to a team that hasn't won a game yet, or they haven't forced any turnovers yet. And I think you want to go out there, and I think you want to send a message, not to the league, but to yourself, that, hey, we are legit. Also, I don't necessarily feel, going back to the Super Bowl point, that they have to have home field advantage anymore with this type of win. You know you can get a gritty win on the road.
No. I think that's been proven.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm just saying, the path to the Super Bowl is not easy, but it's easier if you can get a home game or 2. Playing in Denver in January in the playoffs from an opposing team standpoint, I don't care who comes in here, and there'll be obviously good teams, well coached, and all that. Man, that is going to be a chore on anybody. So I think winning the AFC West is where I would try to set my sights. You got the Chiefs a couple times, win enough games, take care of business. And I do think Kansas City sort of found their footing last week against the Ravens.
I do as well. I think they're going to be a
What you doing in London like for 5 days?
Well, I'm going to do stuff with the company. We're going to go out. We're going to do a tour of London. I'm going to do a Play 60 event with Steve Atwater.
Nice.
We got a couple live shows actually on Thursday and Friday, where we're going to be actually with Broncos Country UK and doing a live podcast there.
What's the fan base like in London? Do we know? In UK? Are there a lot of Broncos fans?
I think there's a lot of Broncos fans.
Yeah, good.
A lot of Broncos fans. I think they sold out the tickets for the events. So, I mean, it's a ticket event. So I'm going to bring my Super Bowl ring. People can come take pictures with that. It's going to be a lot of fun. But, yeah, how do the Broncos handle success? Jets are 0-5. Jeez. As we're talking about the Jets right now, 0-5. I like Aaron Glenn a lot. He was with Sean Payton when I was there in New Orleans in 2020. I have a tremendous amount of respect for him. He's got a tall task. This is one of those trap games.
What
does Nick Saban call him? Rat poison. Don't take the poison or whatever it is.
Don't listen to how people tell you you're so good.
Yeah, especially coming off this type of win.
It's probably good that they're out of the country.
Yeah.
Right? Because if the team was in Denver all week, that's exactly what they'd be hearing.
Patting you on the back.
Yeah.
Did you have any long trips, any week-long trips in the NFL? I never had a week-long trip in the NFL.
No, we travel by stagecoach. So
wow, you're on a bus? Oh, my God.
No, I'm just kidding. I mean, I played a long time ago, but we didn't travel by stagecoach. We bused to Pittsburgh from Cleveland, 2 hours. Yeah. No, back then they weren't playing international games, so I didn't have to worry about getting on a jet and trying to fly over to London and get a passport and all that stuff. I thought Sean handled last week well, being out there and doing a couple shows from the Broncos facility. It was an edict. Nobody mentioned the L word. Like I was told, Dave, there's nothing about London. Don't ask anything about London. So he told players, we're not just bring an extra bag on Friday. load an extra bag, and that's what we'll put on the plane going to Philadelphia.
I love that mindset from a coach. And,
Yeah.
you know, Sean is one of my favorite coaches that I played for because he never coached scared. And he was never afraid to look across the other sideline or look at the other roster and tell you, I don't think that person is as good as you think he is.
Yeah.
Like, don't get caught up in that. We can go beat them. And
I think he felt that about the Eagles.
100%. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, when we played Tampa Bay, Brady had just got there in 2020, and he was like, the way he scouted him and the way he presented Brady's scouting report to the team was like, don't get caught up in that. This ain't New England. It's Tampa Bay. We run this division. And we beat them, I don't know, 36-3 or 36-9 or something like that.
Until the playoffs.
But it wasn't the game plan.
I had to remind you of that, just, you know.
Yeah, it's okay. But that wasn't the game plan, though. The game plan was poorly executed by the players.
Yeah.
On that day.
Yeah, I think the most important thing you just said is Sean isn't scared.
Yep.
And I think you could apply sort of that sentiment in a lot of decisions he makes on how he coaches, on how he calls plays. You know, you could apply that to his comment before the season started about liking this team and thinking this was one of 6 or 7 teams he's coached that had the ability to get to the Super Bowl. We were all like, what did he just say? But you got to have big balls, and you got to not be scared about anything. And I think you make a statement like that with intention, trying to infuse some confidence into your young team. And you know what? They're off to I think anybody who had looked at the schedule and said, hey, after 5, if you're 3-2, with 3 of those games being road games in Indy, in Los Angeles against the Chargers, and Philly, would you take 3-2? I think most fans would have said, hell yes.
100%. And I think the Broncos are better than their record.
I do too.
I think they're better than their record. So
yeah,
it's going to be interesting to see. Broncos I'm always going to say they got a task going to London and focusing. I think the tall task this week is how do you handle the success against the Jets and how do you play there. So I'm looking forward to.
And Justin Fields.
Yeah, somebody who can
Come
run.
up with a plan for Justin Fields and his running.
100%. And Breece Hall is explosive. And then you got Garrett Wilson. I mean, Pat Surtain obviously is the number 1 corner for a reason, but he gets no weeks off. I mean, Garrett Wilson can play.
Yes, he can.
He can play.
Yep.
So, it's a great show, man.
Good seeing you, man.
Good to see you, too. Go get some rest.
I'm out here to a nap.
This is Broncos X's and O's with Benny and Dave.